Oxtail is such an underrated cut of beef. I love cooking with it. I think people are a little bit deterred because it takes so long to cook. Usually if you're cooking this in a stew pot, it'll take about 3 hours to cook because of all the tendons, the fat and the bone. But I'm going to show you how to cook this in a pressure cooker, and it's only going to take 50 minutes to cook. It's an absolutely beautiful recipe to do in winter. Now, I'm going to show you the French way. This is how Mama Francoise does it. It's a combination of beer, so very east of France, and we've got some prunes in it, so you've got that slight sweetness in this recipe. So I've just been preheating the pressure cooker. It's on stir fry, so we just need to seal it off to get some lovely colour. The colour is going to help us form a gorgeous caramelised sauce. So in here, the French way, always a little bit of butter. In it goes. So in with the oxtail. And if you've got quite a lot of oxtail like I do, you might want to do this in batches. You don't want to overfill the bowl because you do want to get some colour on there. So I'll do half now, remove it, and then we'll add the other half so we get some good colour. I'll also season it at this stage. So a good pinch of salt onto our oxtail. While that's sealing off, I'm just going to chop up an onion. All right, the meat is looking good, so I'm just going to take it out of the bowl just for a moment so I can get some colour on the onions and the speck. So in with our onions and speck. I love to use speck. It gives it a wonderful smoky, salty flavour. So in it goes. And we'll give that a stir. Just want to soften that slightly. Looking good. Now we can add the prunes. So I've just taken the seeds out of the prunes. You want about 100 grams or about a large handful. I love the contrast with the saltiness of the speck and the oxtail, and you've got sweetness and almost like a caramel flavour from these gorgeous prunes. Okay, so in with our oxtail, we can return that. And I won't be adding any more salt now because the speck has some salt, but I will add a good crack of pepper. Okay, just a few more ingredients. A bouquet garni. This is a combination of bay leaf, thyme and parsley. And I always tie it up so I can pick it out right at the end just to make it much easier. And some nutmeg, a pinch of nutmeg. It's like a subtle spice for this. For the liquids, some stout. You could use any beer you like. I like a dark coloured beer because it's going to give it that nice caramel flavour also. So 375 mils. And we want about 500 mils of beef stock. You could use some chicken stock if you like to. You'll notice I'm using less liquid for this because as it pressure cooks, a lot of the liquid is retained in there because it's not evaporating. So a lot of the flavour is going to be concentrated. So less liquid when you're pressure cooking. In that goes. And that's it. Lid goes on. We'll lock that. I'll manually set the timer for 45 minutes. And we'll let the pressure cooker do its thing. When we get back, it's going to be meltingly tender. The meat's just going to fall off the bone, and I'm serving this with some polenta. Yum. I've just released the pressure on the Turbo Cuisine Maxi, and I love that part the most because that's when you really smell the true flavours of the stew. It smells amazing. Now, you may have noticed I didn't add any flour to thicken the sauce, but I'm going to do that at this stage. So this is a little trick Mama showed me. So you add a little butter to a bowl. We'll add some plain flour, just a spoonful, and you want to just mix that together. And what this does is not only thicken the sauce, but it's also going to give it a beautiful glossiness. So in with that spoonful of the butter, and just with that residual heat from the pressure cooker, you'll see it melt in and it'll slowly thicken up and become glossy. Oh, I love this dish. Look at that. So rich, so luscious. And here's some polenta. I like it not to be too firm, so make sure you use quite a little liquid when you're mixing your polenta. And there's some fantastic polenta options on the market. This one's an instant one, so it really takes a few minutes to make. So look at this tender oxtail. You can see the meat is just falling off the bone. I love this much. 2 big pieces of the oxtail. And when I'm presenting it, I just like to leave it on the bone. If you like, you can absolutely shred it and then you can serve it like that. Make sure you get a few spoonfuls of the sauce and those beautiful prunes. Drizzle that over the top. Look at that sauce. See what that butter and flour mixture did? It made it so glossy. To finish it off and freshen it up, a little sprinkle of parsley over the top, and that is a very fast way of cooking a usually slow stew. You get the same effect. To be honest, when it's cooked under pressure like this, I think it tastes even better.